In today's video, we have a very special blaster all the way from Germany. This blaster right here is a 3S powered flywheeler that accepts magazines with shells. It's fully auto and it's bullpup. And dare I say it, there is nothing out there that exists in the Nerf hobby and the Nerf community like this. Not only is this thing just super cool, but I consider it an absolute work of art. May I present to you the Motortier from GenCoMegawerkz, created by Domocheski. And if you don't know who Domocheski is, I consider this guy a treasure to the Nerf hobby. He truly is a mad scientist, and I absolutely love his builds. Now, we've reviewed quite a few videos on the DrFlux channel from Domocheski or GenCoMegawerkz. One of them being the rail cleaner on the wall. If you haven't done so already, check out that video. Pretty amazing build and review. This right here, the Motortier, we're gonna take a look at this today and really dive into why I'm so excited to get my hands on this blaster. Truly amazing. There's also a little bit of backstory to kind of tell, so stick around. Let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Now, to really get a good understanding of what I'm talking about, I have to kind of explain something about the, we'll call it the spirit of foam flinging. Now, many times on the channel, I get a lot of people asking like, well, why don't you go play airsoft? Or why don't you go play paintball? What are you doing here? And to those people, I'd say, you truly don't understand what we're doing here in the foam flinging hobby. A couple of the questions that I asked myself when I first joined the Nerf hobby, or actually before I was even in it, when I was reviewing it and thinking like, oh, should I get into this or not, was number one, picking up darts. Like, it seems like a lot of work to pick up all the darts. So that's kind of a turnoff. People are like, well, I don't want to pick up 1,000 darts. The second thing is, oh, well, I don't think people call their tags, you know? If I shoot at someone, I need to make sure they feel it, you know? So you got this concept that we need to hit them really hard with like an airsoft BB or a paintball marker. And with laser tag, there's, you know, lights and sounds and haptic feedback to tell you that they've just got tagged. So in the foam dart flinging community or hobby, you know, people that are outside have a hard time understanding like, oh, well, people probably won't take their tags. And I can tell you, you know, from all the games and events that I've been to, typically people are very honest. They understand how important it is to be honest in a nerfing event, so they will call out their tags. The people who get tagged and don't call it, they're probably just, they didn't know. And you could just say, hey, you know, you got tagged, and typically people will honor that. Also, we have refs and whatnot. So I know that's still not 100% resolved, and a lot of people can put their 2 cents on the subject matter. So if you have something to say in regards to taking your tags, please say so in the comment section. We can talk about it. But it is definitely a very strange concept for people outside of the Nerf hobby to see it and understand it. And the third area that many people within the Nerf hobby and outside of the Nerf hobby, this concept's really kind of hard to explain. So let me do my best. Number one, having a precision tagger that, you know, you could tag a target 150 feet. You got, you know, even getting into stuff that's like full auto or, you know, even semi-auto with extreme accuracy. You get to a point where you're now playing a different game. And when you start getting really high into the competitive stuff or even just the high performance stuff, it's kind of a different field. So, and that's fine. Me personally, and this is why I'm in the Nerf hobby, there's another side of it. And these two worlds are kind of drifting apart. And over time, you're gonna see people in, say, the airsoft community or the paintball communities kind of looking at the professional dart tagging stuff as being attractive, and they're probably gonna be migrating over to that. And that's perfectly fine. We need to be open to this and accepting and just create a safe and enjoyable environment. Now, me personally, I find myself in this other area, which is crazy and ridiculous. The world of just bizarre. You know, if I can go to a Nerf war and have a bag full of, say, hamburgers or bananas, you know, foam hamburgers, and I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna tag people with foam hamburgers today. That's it. I can play that game. You know, I can go out there and try to hide behind trees and jump out and throw a hamburger or something ridiculous, you know. Maybe I have just rocket launchers. You know, I'm toting around, you know, Titan rockets. I just have a launcher, and that's all I'm gonna do that day is try to get tagged with my Titan launcher. And that's perfectly fine. Now, if that kind of game style or play style is in a super high competitive environment, it's kind of gonna be looked at like, hey, what are you doing, man? We're trying to win a game here, and you're over there with a shield and melee trying to do, I don't even know what. So you could see how there's a division. And this is why I truly love stuff from like Domocheski. Now, Domocheski essentially gave himself some constraints. And this right here actually spawned from a call that I was in with him almost, I don't know, it's been a while. And we're sitting there and he was trying to figure out a way that he could just basically have ribbons of shells, just ejecting mass quantities of shells and firing at a full auto rate. He tried to kind of go through an idea of using band power, because you know, not a lot of people use band power. And so he was trying to use some type of like elastic or rubber bands or something. But over a couple months of testing and trying, he ended up realizing, well, that's gonna be a little bit harder than he thought. So he had this basic design, and then, you know, through more testing and more, you know, talking with other people and everything, you realize, let's just throw a flywheel cage in there. Let's just make it a flywheeler. Now, this is a very unique blaster because not only is it a flywheeler, not only is it bullpup, it takes magazines and ejects shells, has full auto, not only that, but it has this. Inside here is your standard strife cage. And look at this, it's all magnetic. You can quickly get in there. Very nice design. And why this is so big is because once you start supporting a strife geometry cage, you're now opening yourself up to a vast quantity of options, or you just really open up the platform. Because strifes, you know, the Nerf Hasbro's strife, which many of us are familiar with, has a geometry that Worker and other, you know, like Open Flywheel Project and just other people in the community they're very accustomed with a strife cage. So there's a lot of aftermarket parts. So it's really cool to see that. So now you just open up all these possibilities for flywheel cages and wheels and motors and all this stuff just by accepting that geometry. So I really like that. Secondly, the battery compartment of this is huge. You have a lot of possibilities of 3S LiPos you can throw in here. Now, something I really like with Domocheski's designs is he includes this little lead right here that you can plug into your LiPo, and it's actually a battery alarm with a display up on the front. Has an in-strike barrel attachment on the front. Really cool that Domocheski added that. So all the in-strike possibilities are now able to be put on this ridiculous, amazing blaster. You can just have a long barrel, all kinds of stuff. So I'm back here today. This is actually the next day. I was filming this video yesterday when Xbox Games popped in and we started, you know, kind of talking, hanging out and stuff. And I totally lost track of time. Also, we went to do some firing footage with this blaster, and it turned out one of the pins on the inside of the blaster came dislodged. I was able to open it up and see exactly what happened. I actually sent some footage over to Domocheski so we can see how to resolve this for other future builds. It's actually a pretty easy fix. I'm gonna actually pull that pin out, scuff sand it a little bit, and then use 2-part epoxy, put it back in there, and it should hold. So here we are again. I'm just gonna quickly run through all this. I know I mentioned some of the features of the blaster, but I didn't talk about ergo. So I'm gonna have to say the ergo on this blaster is kind of strange. The pistol grip on this blaster is not the most comfortable thing to hold on to. Definitely gives it that really strange look though, like I guess a sci-fi type blaster. But it is worth mentioning, there could be a little bit more rework here. The other thing too that I noticed is all this material here for the pistol grip, there's nothing really going on inside here, so he could have definitely kind of cut it in more like a traditional pistol grip that fits a human hand. So I don't know, that's one of my biggest gripes with this design right now. I know this is kind of prototype. I do know that these are for sale, so I don't know if he's gonna potentially rework some of this as maybe a new version, but that's just my 2 cents. Now the stock back here, it's basically just a big flat plate. You could also add some type of curvature to that to give it more of a stock feel. But other than that, it is just a crazy, big, ridiculous blaster, and I truly like it for that. Also, it's very, very much a sci-fi or even a cyberpunk looking blaster, which I can really get behind. Now, as we can see up in the motor housing area, I mentioned how this is magnetic. That's really nice. Takes strife flywheel geometry. He included a fan here to cool this whole section. I don't know if that's really needed, but definitely will help with the longevity of these motors. So that's nice. This fan right here is actually LED. It lights up along with this really nice strip you can see on both sides. And then, of course, we have some Picatinny. It almost looks like rival rail mount. I don't think it's actually Picatinny, but you do have some place to mount a flashlight or whatever. The overall balance of this blaster, it is very heavy because of this massive motor back here. It's just very back heavy. So you definitely need to shoulder this thing. It's quite a bit of work to fire this thing like a pistol, although it can be done. So in the end, can I recommend the Motortier? I would say this blaster is not for everyone. If you are new to the hobby, I actually recommend not getting something like this. You will need to understand, you know, 3D printed blasters, at least be able to solder and that kind of stuff. And yes, I know what you're saying. Hey, that's a completed, done, built blaster, but it's still kind of in the whole thing of prototyping. So these type of blasters in particular, I don't recommend for entry-level Nerfers. And that's just the nature of what they are. Now, if you've been in the hobby for a while and maybe you have some blasters under your belt that you've actually built and soldered and put together, and you see this thing and it really speaks to you, I do recommend it. I think it's really cool. If you would like to pick up one of these or the file sets or whatever he offers, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description to if you'd like to support Domaczewski. As far as Flux Labs selling something like this, I want to build a few of these and see what it looks like, but I can already tell the print time, the construction of it, and all the materials that go into it, it's a very expensive blaster. So I don't foresee selling a lot of these, but I might offer a few. So let me know in the comment section if this is something you'd like to see stateside, because I know Domaczewski's in Germany, and that adds a lot of cost when it comes to shipping things from Germany to the US. But let me know in the comment section. Well, I'm DrFlux. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Let me know in the comment section if you like this blaster. Super cool stuff from GenCoMegawerkz. As always, be safe and happy foam flinging. There we go.